Hello, Kit fans. You're locked into Talking Kit, and this is the Strip Down. We are previewing match week 5 of the Premier League. Got some special guests. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you keep it Talking Kit. Hello. It's Double A. I'm joined, as always, my right-hand man, the Robin to my Batman, the Cole to my York.
I'll take Cole over than Robin, I'll be honest.
Well, you're a bit camp. You're a little bit, you suit the Robin.
I also can't rap like Andy Cole as well. So.
Can Andy Cole rap?
He did that rap, didn't he?
I think you can rap better than Andy Cole, to be honest, mate. You're putting yourself down there. He's shite. Can't rap for shit. He thinks he's outstanding. He's really not. Nice throwback to Andy Cole's record there. So, yeah, this is the Strip Down. This is where me and James run through the match week games from each Premier League game coming up this weekend. And we basically rip off a gift that the Premier League have sent out. I screenshot it, and we use them images to look at the games. We normally have a guest in. We've had one of the two. We had Jay on the first one. We had Kojo from Free Midfield for this last one. We've upgraded this week, James. We've got two guests in. Two special guests are going to join us. But before we bring them in, just want to say, if you can like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, get involved in the comments for each game. Let us know any fixtures or scores that you're looking forward to or that you may predict for the games. And yeah, we'll get the guests in, shall we, James? So the first guest, we appeared on their pod, me and you, James, not too long ago. It was a great pod. Fully enjoyed that episode. Talking everything noughties in the world of football, and they had some great features, and he made us feel welcome. It was almost like an extended version of Talking Kit, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really good show, and they've got some really good features, like you say. So yeah, give the guys a listen. But
yeah. So we have got Ollie from the Team of Our Lives podcast. Big United fan. Nice to have another.
Absolutely.
Not enough on this podcast, United fans, for me. So
yeah, exactly. It's the one thing you're lacking. It's United fans. So, yeah. So I'm here to make up the numbers. But yeah, thanks for having me on, champs. Yeah, big fan of your podcast, as you know, and yeah, you were great when you came on ours. So it's yeah, good to see you again.
No, I appreciate that. Happy for you to join the live show. Obviously, we are planning for you to come on the main pod very, very soon. So that should be brilliant. Both you and Harry both coming on. We can get you involved in some of our features as well. So we are looking forward to that. Looking forward to the football this weekend quickly.
Yeah, definitely. The international break, it was painful. As much as I do I like tournament football, but just Christ almighty, I was begging to watch the Premier League again. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, looking forward to running down the fixtures with you then, Ollie. So the second guest we've got on as well. It's good to have someone that's not. Oh, we had Tom, but he was involved in the show because of obviously the music. He's obviously made the music, so it's nice to have someone who's not directly involved in the world of football. Well, he kind of is. Didn't he work at the Etihad actually?
He does work at the Etihad.
So he is involved in football. Shit. I've just lied there to everyone. Sorry.
He's a bit of a hybrid, really, because he's from Salford, works at the Etihad, and you'll see when we do introduce him, he supports a team.
Yeah, he's a team. It's just a team.
Yeah, perhaps we'll get to the bottom of that when we do introduce him. But people may or may not know that I dabble in the world of stand-up comedy, and it's a very good friend of mine who also does the same. So yeah, Karl Porter, who's a Liverpool fan from Salford.
Mate,
already.
Is that a Dybala celebration? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right.
How you doing, Kai? You okay?
I'm good, man. You all right?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for joining us. Happy to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Right, it's all good. Sporting a training top. Number 8. Is that actual Gerrard's? Have you stole it off him?
No, to be fair, Cater left this at the Etihad last year, so...
you've got a bit of Scouser in you then if you stole it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So born in Salford, works at the Etihad, supports Liverpool. How does that work?
Triple threat there, turning everyone's head.
That's like the ultimate glory supporter, like baby's been born.
It's a weird one, because all three of my brothers support United, so it's quite fun, if I'm honest, when it's Liverpool United. So I just sit in the middle and just go. But to be fair, like, I don't know, I only really got into football when I was like 10, 11, and yeah, for some mad reason, this was the team who I've followed since, and I probably won't be on the podcast after tonight.
No, of course you will, mate. Voice depends what you say, to be honest with you.
Yeah, true.
So what we are going to do is obviously run down this weekend's Premier League fixtures. Going through, obviously, like I say, we've literally just stolen a GIF. I've screenshotted every kit combination for every fixture. We'll just run through it. Any sort of kit debacles or anything that shouldn't be worn, we have a little bit of a bitch and a moan, as you probably can imagine. So we'll go into the first one. We'll go straight away. Like I say, do get involved in the show. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, get involved in the comments. I think we've got a couple lined up already. Jay, who was meant to be on, but he's got a bad back, apparently. There's big up guys. Sorry, couldn't make it. Said I would have been a Chelsea fan in, which would have been a nice little tussle between Karl and Jay. I know they've got a little bit of history. And he's laughing.
That's the thing. Whenever I've got a bad back, I think, oh yeah, I can't do a podcast either. That really works. That really works the back. That
I said to him, just sit still. You don't have to do anything. Just talk. That's all. But you know, big up to you anyway. Thanks for tuning in. We are appreciative. So yeah, the first fixture is actually currently playing. It's 1-1. It is Newcastle v Leeds. Like I say, 8 p.m. and it's another Parma Violet kit. Leeds third shirt. Leeds first shirt. So yeah, it's currently 1-1. So we don't have to talk much about it. It's 1-1. I think Rafinha scored for Leeds. I'm not sure who got the Newcastle goal. To be fair to you,
Sam Maximan, wasn't it?
Oh, Sam Maximan. Oh, carrying that team. The team, if you can imagine.
I tell you what, if anyone's got a dodgy back, it'd be him. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly he couldn't make it tonight either. But,
yeah.
Busy. He was a bit busy. So yeah, covering it the 1-1. I guess it's mainly talking about the kits. Obviously, we've spoke about Newcastle's kit before. Shite in it. To be fair,
it's just, again, I keep forgetting the make of the kit, and it's just really unusual that they're involved in making kits. I guess it's unusual. Not against the Leeds, not adverse to the Leeds kit there, to be honest.
Is it purple, that?
Yeah, it's like violet, yeah, like a light purple, but like Parma violets.
It's just unusual because obviously the home kit is white. You'd think they'd go for a bit more of a broader colour range, so there isn't a clash.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I really want to just say David Brent, like, well, that looks gay. Yeah,
it does, yeah, I guess. But you're saying, you know, it's a bit unusual, but obviously Barcelona had an away kit similar to that this season, which you, on one of the podcasts, James, said you didn't like at all. So,
no, what the only thing is I don't like about it is it's a different tone though, isn't it, of the purple? Would you say?
I think it's very similar. I don't think they're too far off the Barcelona and Leeds one.
I just think if you were Leeds and you had to have a kit change because of clash of colours, you were playing a team in white. This isn't really going to give you much of a difference, I don't think. But
no. But I don't think, obviously they went to Adidas when they come up to the Premier League. I don't think they've had a yellow kit, which I always assume Leeds would wear white and yellow.
You associate them with that yellow away kit.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think they've had one yet. And obviously the away kit is like a darky blue. So obviously they wouldn't be able to wear that with Newcastle's black. So they've prompted for the third shirt, which is this one. What we're making of, obviously Newcastle in trouble, not looking too great. The fans up in arms. Leeds still looking for their first win as well. How have we made out of their season so far?
You feel like Leeds will come good eventually. With Bielsa, I think they'll be pretty safe. As for Newcastle, I think they're the most boring team in the league. Like, they've got a few good players, a bit like their kit, I couldn't tell you what every kit they've had for the last 10, 15 years. It's just looked exactly the same. Just change the sponsor, change the logo. You just need fucking brown ale on the front, and
that's what it needs. Or the shield on the back where the number goes in.
Yeah. But in Newcastle, I think the best thing for them is to get relegated, and then they'll sell the club for a decent price and got a good chance of rebirthing. Leeds will be fine; they'll finish 12th or something.
I actually spoke to a Newcastle fan yesterday, and he was saying that it's the top six's fault that they can't get a new buyer for the club. Seemed quite bitter about that. Apparently, the top six are blocking that, but I'm not really read into that, to be honest. Apparently, we don't want them to be a juggernaut and rock the apple cart.
We're really afraid of Newcastle, who were in the Championship 2 years ago became a juggernaut.
They'll tell you though. They'll tell you, Ollie, they're a sleeping giant with that fan base. But yeah,
well, no.
I gotta say that's what people were saying about Man City in 2008, though. Oh yeah, we're really scared of them with that oil money.
Yeah,
look at them now.
But yeah, I sort of agree with Ollie. I think Leeds will be safer than Newcastle this season going forward.
Just on the money thing quickly, remember when Fulham came up a couple of years ago and they spent they got the same owner who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL, and he spent like 150 million in one summer, and then they got relegated straight away, and it completely fucked them. So money isn't everything.
No, definitely not.
I think Leeds fans can be testament to that as well.
Oh yeah, they know firsthand. Obviously, 17 years out of the Premier League. 16, 17. Yeah, Karl, any final thoughts on this fixture, these kits?
Yeah, I think Leeds are definitely safe. They're sound. I think they've got too much of a good squad to go down. Like attacking football, it's quality to watch, and like with Newcastle, like they remind me of do you remember like Bolton, like before they went down, like they just kept on hanging in there every season, but they went down and down and down.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's Newcastle. Like they'll slowly kind of go down. Like maybe this year if they hang on, and then probably next year. Obviously the fans are not happy with what's going on behind closed doors, so
definitely not. They are due a relegation. Hopefully he can get Shearer in again and he can cement that relegation up.
Yeah, just lose them all.
Randomly, I was actually watching that Premier League games this today regarding that 2008-2009 one, when he got him relegated. So I saw that happens again.
It's like because it's one of them where you bring one of your own back, and like you don't want them to, like obviously you want them to do well, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Like it's like our situation. Everyone's talking about Gerrard being taken over Klopp, and it's just worrying because you don't want one of your legends just to die. You know what I mean? Kind of. So yeah.
Well, no doubt we'll move on to the United fixture later on, and we can discuss that further. Yeah.
100%. So yeah, Newcastle v Leeds. It's currently on Rinted 85th minutes, 1-1, and it is on Sky Sports if you are wanting to watch that after this. Well, let's say after the show, it's almost done. The next game we have got is Wolves v Brentford tomorrow, and that is 12:30 kickoff on BT Sports. And there we go. That's what both teams will be wearing.
Standard.
So, yeah, I mean, Wolves seem to be making teams in red wear their away kit. Obviously, United had to wear their away kit, even though we've worn the home shirt before. So, obviously, red and white stripes. Brentford white. It's gonna be all right, isn't it? It's an all right kit. Bit boring, but
still feel that sponsor for Brentford's a bit tin pot, but
it's definitely Championship, innit? Football League.
Yeah.
Wolves is no better, to be honest. Oh yeah, and just back to your point, James. It's Castor who sponsor Wolves.
Castor, that's it. Yeah.
And Newcastle, also Rangers. I always thought it was Castorian. I thought it was like Italian, but it turns out it's actually British. So
it's some factory in Wigan somewhere.
Yeah. £6 an hour to make the kits and that, probably. So yeah, that's the kits. What are we making, James? What is your thoughts on this fixture?
Interesting fixture. I think Wolves still finding their feet. Brentford, obviously, every week's cup final for them at the moment until they sort of settle into the sort of mid-season, if you like. I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to say 1 apiece for this one. I do like the way Brentford play. Wolves, I've seen them against, obviously, Manchester United. They deserved more than they got out of the game. But I still not sure on them in terms of... I'm not sure where they're going to finish this season. I think they're going to be lower mid-table, to be honest. I don't think they're going to be pushing and banging on doors. I could be wrong, but that's just the way when I've watched them, I just feel they're a little bit toothless.
Yeah.
But for me, it's going to be one apiece.
Okay.
I think the last time they played, just a bit of a fact for you, January 2018, it was 3-0 to Wolves. Don't think we can really take much from 3 years ago, though.
Oh, no, probably not. Wolves have got half of Portugal there now, so I don't think. Ollie, what are you thinking?
I think in the first 3 or 4 fixtures that Wolves played, I don't think they've got a point yet, have they? But they've been the better team. I think they were definitely the better team against United. And they've played good football. They've just been really unlucky in some of their defending. I think this might be the match they get all 3 points. I don't think it'll be glamorous. I don't think it'll be high scoring. And I think Brentford will put up a fight. But I've not been too impressed with like Ivan Toney or Canos yet. I think they were good on the first day of the season against Arsenal. Apart from that, I've not been too impressed by them. I think Wolves will probably nick it 1-0.
It's cool. Not to piss on your parade, but they actually won the last game 2-0 against Watford, but I don't want to.
Oh, do they?
Have you been away? You've been away, haven't you?
I was in Portugal last week. Scouting some Wolves players.
Scouting for Wolves players.
No, to be fair, I was in Madeira. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
but,
I'll let you off on that, though, mate. Yeah,
still 1-0 Wolves. I'm confident.
Yeah. So they did win the last game 2-0 against Watford away. So they've finally got some goals to show for all them shots on target. Karl, come to you last on this one. What are you thinking in terms of this game?
Yeah, I reckon maybe a draw. I think Brentford are just kind of relishing just being in the league for the first time. Hopefully, they don't kind of drop off at Christmas. Maybe they just go on a bit of a run. But yeah, I think about Wolves, I think they've been really unlucky so far. Obviously they've won, but I feel like there's been some results they could have got something else from it. But I think it's not going to be an exciting game. Yeah, maybe a goalless draw, or Wolves might nick it in the last 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Ollie said earlier just then you've not been impressed by Brentford, certainly Ivan Toney and Canos. What do you think they need to do to sort of survive? And do you think they will? Do you think they've got enough? Or maybe these teams worse than them that they will sort of see it through?
Well, we just discussed Newcastle, haven't we? Yeah, I think Brentford, they look like one of those, when Timo, a couple of years ago, when Timo Pukki for Norwich just looked like the business in the Championship, and he came up and then he scored like 4 or 5 goals in the Premier League, and then Norwich got relegated. I think Brentford will be everyone's favourite new boys up until Christmas. And then after that, I think there'll be a severe decline. They'll struggle to get points when the top 6 really need them. And I think they might be unlucky enough to get relegated.
Did Toney break the record in the Championship last season?
I think he did,
yeah.
And you almost think, do you half that goal tally as a rough estimate? I don't know, but it's a tough ask.
I think it's a different level in the Premier League, isn't it? And then let alone you've got to rely on your other players. They've brought in some new people as well. So are that team going to be as gelled as everyone else? Yeah. Probably not. I just got that feeling, I just don't see it.
Fair enough.
Karl, what about you? Have you watched any Brentford? Or what do you think?
I've not watched a lot of them, but they have been a team who they were knocking on the door for quite a few years to come up. But kind of like Derby, but then Derby kind of like always bottled it when it come to playoffs. But I'm glad they're in there, because every time it was like near Christmas, it was always West Brom, Fulham, Norwich, and it's like, come on,
nice to have that new team.
Yeah, just get that new team. Like, because it was them and Bristol City, I think, who was in the playoffs. Or was it Barnsley? Sorry.
Yeah, Barnsley were in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I was happy enough for one of them to come up. So hopefully it's kind of like a fairy tale where they can stay in there for at least a year, like Huddersfield. But have they got? It's an odd one. I'd love to see them stay up, but it's tough. Like, Premier League just seems to get better and better every year, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, the more money, the harder it is to stay in the league. Definitely. Yeah, Wolves v Brentford, even Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. BT Sports, one to watch. The next game we've got coming up, one of the first 3 o'clock kickoff. Everyone's favourite team to laugh at versus Brexit FC is obviously Burnley v Arsenal. Arsenal are going to be wearing their away kit. Burnley in that West Ham, Villa, Burnley sort of Scunthorpe kit looks the same for each team.
Yeah.
We'll start with you, Karl. What are you thinking on this fixture?
I mean, Turf Moor is one of the hardest grounds to go to, in my opinion. Like it's always hard. Arsenal are just, I don't know, they're just struggling, aren't they? Like obviously, I'm on for Burnley, so come on, let's have it. I think Burnley might do him. I think they might 2-3-1.
2-3-1.
Yeah, just Arsenal are just crumbling, man. Like obviously, they nicked it against Norwich, who, for me, Norwich will definitely go down, and just a scraper result with that. They're just not showing much really. Burnley 2-3-1.
Nice. Ollie, what's your thinking on this matchup?
Firstly, on the kits, that Burnley kit could be from 1956. It could be from 2021. The Arsenal kit, that badge is shit. It is awful. It is awful. I know the original, the Arsenal. It comes from like the gun makers and like the
70s. Yeah.
But that is shite, isn't it? It's really just pretentious in their history. Awful.
It looks like they've tried to go sort of retro, but it doesn't look retro.
Yeah. I tell you what puts it off the retro list, being sponsored by fucking Emirates or
exactly.
Rwanda. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Fly better into Yemenis villages. I won't get political. On the game, the match. I think if Arsenal lose this, I think this will be the start of the ending days for Arteta. It's tricky. I kind of agree with Cole. This is kind of the match where Burnley could easily do them 1 or 2-0 with a couple of long balls up to Chris Wood. Easily. On the other hand, Arsenal really need the wins, and Burnley's defence can be a bit crumbly at times. It's not consistent. So it can go either way, really. I think the sensible thing is probably put a 1-1 draw in it, which is a massive middle finger up to Arsenal, because my heart and my brain is still in the noughties, So it's to think of Arsenal, who they are a big club historically, as you can tell by their fucking badge. But but it's just tricky to. It's just bizarre saying they're gonna draw 1-1 with Burnley and that'll be a good result for them, but that's the reality.
You mentioned there, Ollie, about it potentially being Arteta's last game if he doesn't get a result. Do you think he's 2-3 losses away, or how serious do you think it is?
In the real world, yes, but in the Arsenal kingdom, it doesn't seem to work like that, does it? So it's I don't know. If you were sensible, I think because it's clearly not working. So I'd cut your losses and try something else.
Yeah. So just before I come to you, James, obviously Arsenal finally got their first win on the board, 1-0 win at home to what would probably look like relegation fodder at Norwich. But like you say, I think the pressure is on Arteta, and as soon as the results go the wrong way again, I think the fans will be calling for his head, as you probably would imagine. James, coming to you, what do you think the matchup there and the Arsenal situation in general, really?
Yeah, this fixture last year ended 1-1 draw, and I don't think a draw is enough really for Arsenal. I know Ollie mentioned it could be a draw, and it is. If as an Arsenal fan, you'd be thinking this is probably the worst fixture we could have right now. This isn't a free hit by any stretch of the imagination. This is tough 90 minutes, grind it out. Even if can Arsenal win ugly, that's the thing. Some teams can do it. We've seen other teams grind out results. I don't think Arsenal can play that way. So they either need to score early and sort of catch Burnley on the break and sort of have them where they want them. Otherwise, it could be a really, really long afternoon for them. In terms of Arteta, I feel like Arsenal don't want to lose face with him a little bit. So I think they probably will persevere him a little bit longer than perhaps they should if the results don't come in. I'm going to say it's a repeat of last season and say it's going to be 1-1 draw. And again, the knives will be out for Arteta after the game.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I think, Burnley, even though they come off that 3-1 defeat at Everton, I think they'll be up for this game massively. And it's a tricky one for Arsenal, like you say, and it's not a positive place to be around that club at the moment. So I can definitely see if there is a bad result, things are going to turn nasty quite a bit. But again, probably another big relegation 6-pointer for Arsenal in that one. So one for them to definitely look out for. So that is, again, Saturday, 3:00 kickoff, Burnley v Arsenal down at Turf Moor. The next game, one we don't need to talk much about. Two teams not many people like, especially the panel, I reckon. Another 3:00 kickoff, Liverpool v Crystal Palace. Yeah, not one we need to focus too much on. Down at Anfield, Crystal Palace going to be wearing their away kit, typical yellow with some blue and red stripe. Liverpool in that weird red and orange trim. Don't understand why they've done that. Go on, we'll start with you then, Karl, being a Liverpool fan. Good result in the week in the Champions League. What are we thinking for your home game against Crystal Palace?
Yeah, we're on a good run. I think I was reading like Klopp's won most games against any team as Palace, to be fair. Mane just loves playing against them. I think he's got like 8 goals in 8 games against them. At home, yeah, I mean, not to obviously be a biased fan, but I can see it being a comfortable win. I think we're looking tidy, looking strong, and just looking back to our best with obviously the big man in centre back. He's just a huge difference, and everyone's kind of getting on the score sheet up front as well. So yeah, I'd probably say 3-1, maybe 4-1.
Cool. I'm thankful that someone's finally shouting out Joel Matip as well, mate. I appreciate you doing that. Big man at the back.
I mean, yeah, it's so not spoken about. Like, I think because when Van Dijk's in the centre, he makes everyone else look good. But yeah, I think Matip's like, I mean, we got him for free. No, I think he's so good. I think he's quality. Like, he's
to me, he looks like the kid at school who can't really play, but his physique gets him by.
Yeah.
And he sort of steals a place in the side, but that's just my opinion on
it. Like the chubby kids that were always stuck in goal just to fill the goal out.
Yeah, it's just he's just a bit of he just looks really wiry, doesn't he? I think he's surprised. He's like stronger than he looks, and he looks like Bambi on ice when he tries to bring the ball out. But
he's scary because he comes to the opposition's box quite a lot recently, like over since this season. But I'm surprised he's played all games because he usually lasts about 2-3 games, and he's got like a little niggle somewhere where he has to be out for like a month. So I think he might not play, to be fair. I think he might put Gomez in with Van Dijk, save him I mean, it's just good to have every centre-back back, if I'm honest. So can't complain.
Just good to have a centre-back, I think, for Liverpool fans. Just any.
Just Fabinho.
Yeah, not dragging some player from Preston that never played for him, then get shipped off. Did he go to Stoke? So in terms, I'll stick with you, Karl. So in terms of your front three, obviously Mane doesn't seem to be in form. I know he scored again midweek. Or did he score against Leeds? Firmino, that defensive number 9, as Liverpool fans like to call him. What's your go-to front three this season for Liverpool? Sorry,
I think the pressure be on Mane because of last season. Like, he even admitted he had a bad season. Even after when he scored against Leeds, he turned around and just said sorry to everyone because I think he had more shots than actual Leeds in the whole game. Literally 10-9. So, but yeah, I think the pressure be on him. Jota's he was out for quite a bit, so I think like this may be his breakout season. And Salah's just world class. Just every year he's just been gold dust up, so can't complain with him. Give him as much money as he wants because he deserves it, in my opinion. And Firmino as well. I think he's another one who gets a lot of stick because he don't get a lot of goals, but you can tell how much he holds, Mane and Salah as the glue, as they call it. When he's up front, very, he's as important.
Who would your three be then, Karl, if you were to pick?
It's because Firmino's been out for last couple of games.
Origi's a given, right?
I'm Paul King, innit? Everyone's raving as well. It was a nice little assist, but he definitely will move on next year, I think. But I think Mane, Salah, Jota start, but knowing Klopp, he was starting all 4 of them quite a lot last year, so
yeah,
could go that way. But I'd stick with Jota, Mane, and Salah for now.
That sounds about right for me as well. James, your thoughts on this fixture?
Actually, this one stood out for me, but then I realised it's normally Palace away for Liverpool that can be a bit of a banana skin for them. I know it has been in recent years.
The old Suarez playing and all that.
Yeah, was it the 4-4 or something crazy?
3-3 won it. Were they 3-0 up? And
it was 3-0 up, and it.
Oh yeah, when was that?
But no, so I think it will be a comfortable win at home for Liverpool. I think I said last week that I think Vieira's struggling with Palace, but actually having watched them, I think he's slowly building to the style of play that he wants.
Yeah,
I think this fixture's probably come a little bit too soon for them though. I'll probably go 2-0 Liverpool. Can't really see with Palace a lot of the play still does go through Zaha, and I just think against a team like this, one of the bigger teams if you like in the league, they can snuff that out and then they can just pass it around the rest of the team. So I think it'll be 2-0 Liverpool. As much as it pains me to say that, it'll be 2-0 Liverpool.
Good man, Jim.
So yeah, just as we come to you, Ollie, obviously coming off the back of a great 3-0 victory over Spurs in the last game at Selhurst Park. Obviously, Edouard getting 2 goals. I think one was the fastest Premier League goal by a sub, apparently.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Palace sort of going into this season? How you think they're going to do? And obviously, your thoughts on this fixture?
Yeah, it's tricky. I quite like Palace. If you've ever been to Selhurst Park, it's a good ground to go to. I've got a mate who's a season ticket holder. I went to go watch Palace Liverpool a couple of years ago, actually. Vieira's he's going to struggle, I think. He took on a very cohesive Roy Hodgson squad, and that whole squad's moved around quite heavily over the last year. He's got a job on his hands. It's going to be tricky. I think Edouard's a great signing, by the way.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can bang them in more than the former Liverpool player Ben Teke. But yeah, they've got good players. I just don't know if they're going to have the time to kind of work something together. I don't see them getting relegated, but I think they'll probably finish like 15th or 16th, and then maybe have a better season the season after. But wherever Vieira's gone, he's not been there long. He's been there like maybe a year, 2 seasons max.
Yeah.
This particular game, I think Liverpool probably win 2 or 3-0. On that note, I think Liverpool I don't want to say dark horses, but at the start of the season, everyone was saying Chelsea, Man City, title favourites. And then when United got Sancho and Ronaldo, they were talking about United possibly pushing for a title chase.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are very much as I hate to say it, are very much in contention because, as Karl said, they got your defenders back. They've looked solid in the Champions League and in the league. This might be a lot. I don't know when Klopp's contract's up or if he signed a new one or what's going on, but you could feel like something's going in their direction. Like the pendulum's very much with them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Obviously, I think not giving much of a hope. I think even I said they'd be fighting with Leicester for top 4, but obviously now I reckon you're very right. I think it's all about consistency and who drops these points out of all those 4 teams. I include United very, very loosely after obviously midweek. I'm going to say that, but it's shaping up. Hopefully, it's going to be a nice title race with more than 2 teams in it. But Liverpool probably are going to be one of those teams, as you can imagine. So, Liverpool at Anfield against Crystal Palace on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. Come on, you Eagles. That's all I'm going to say about it. Your next 3 o'clock kickoff, another 2 teams not too fond of. City versus Southampton down at the Etihad. Pep calling out the City fans for not turning up, rightly or wrongly. James, we'll start with that. Was he right to do so? And yeah, your score prediction for this game?
Was he right to do it? I guess so. I mean, was he prompted to by the board or whoever? I'm not too sure. But if he wants more people in the stadium, I guess he's well within his rights to say that, given what he's done for the club as a manager. I think a few of the fans a few places have said it's not his place to say that, but I don't know. I think some of the excuses from the fans as well, saying, "Oh, on a Wednesday in the week, people have got kids and stuff," as if it's only City fans who have kids. But I mean, maybe Carl's probably better to tell you about the atmosphere there because he actually works there. But yeah, it's a strange one, and it's one that we don't often hear about it in terms of like managers coming out and asking for more people to turn up to grounds and stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, they are known for having not filling out their quota for seats, and it has to be addressed, I guess. In terms of the fixture, I mean, nice to see that Southampton are wearing their home kit because there's definitely no clash.
Yeah.
City did well midweek. I fully expect City to win this game. Southampton are just one of those teams who they're thereabouts towards the end of the season, towards the bottom, and tend to just get away with it, and it sort of tends to be sort of 10 points clear of the ones at the bottom. This could be one of those as well. It's a bit of a cricket score. If this is on an accumulator, you're probably going to say City -1, -2. But for me, 3-0 City, I think, for this would be quite comfortable for them.
Okay, yeah. So big win for City there from James. So Ollie, obviously, like James is saying, obviously Pep coming out, calling out the City fans for not turning up. Obviously, historically only got a sort of small fan base. They say, you know, they used to fill out the kip at obviously Main Road. Got over to the Etihad. Well, apparently there was 17,000 empty seats in midweek, which isn't great. Obviously, there's all the memes of over. You can get tickets in Kinder Eggs or on the McDonald's Monopoly game or whatever. So, you know, you think, you know, Manchester City been successful for however many years. You think, you know, the fan base would be growing, or, you know, they get a lot of plastics in there, be able to fill the tickets. It's not much of an excuse to say it's a Wednesday night game. What's your thoughts on sort of how they're struggling to sort of fill the stadium for games?
It is bizarre. I'm not sure how many fans. What's the capacity of the Etihad? Like 46,000.
I think it's 50-odd thousand.
50,000. Yeah. It's just really weird. Like, to me, so I live in Devon, and for me, my closest Premier League team is Southampton, and even that's a 3-hour drive. Like, for football, we're not famous for it. You know, yeah. I used to work in London, and whenever there was a game on, I used to try and get to a game. So if I was lucky enough to live in Manchester or in London or somewhere where there was a game on, and you love football, you've got no excuse not to go. So maybe I'm going to blame the Man City fans a little bit. Where's your incentive? You know, I don't know what a ticket prices are like, but if they're on par with Arsenal or even Man United to some extent, I can kind of understand why you'd be putting off going, because you don't want to spend, you know, up to 100 quid every week for whatever the tickets are. So I blame the board, really. I think they need to work out a strategy where they can get the prices equating to the average wage. And if they are becoming this global phenomenon up there with your Liverpools, your Uniteds, and even Arsenal's to have a global fan base, you're sponsored by Etihad Airways, for God's sake. You would have thought you'd have some connections to maybe get in some partners, give them some seats, or friends of friends or other clients. You would have thought that might have been on their radar. It's just embarrassing, you know, there, isn't it? Like, if you can't fill your stadium.
Yeah, maybe they were hoping on the whole Ronaldo things. If you look at, you talk about Manchester United, obviously Ronaldo coming back last week. You know, there was fans of teams. I know Liverpool fans were there, all just to see Ronaldo come back. Maybe they were hoping, you know, they've never had, apart from maybe Aguero and De Bruyne, they've never had a world star. Maybe they were looking at that as in United have, obviously sort of bringing in that money, bringing in that extra sort of revenue, and that focus on them to have a big world star that could draw those fans in. Because I believe United's Instagram has gone up 10 million followers since the signing of Ronaldo, which tells you everything of what he can bring. So, Karl, you work at the club. You not talk to them about what they need to do. You must have some insight, mate, and be able to tell them where they're going wrong.
It's always been a funny one because, like you say, like, you know, this, you know, like massive, like they kind of consider themselves like up there with United, you know, Liverpool, Chelsea, like as a massive club. But yeah, it's always been an odd one where, like, every time I'm there working, like there's just blue patches everywhere, and I never quite understood it. Because some of the tickets, like up top, like, you know, they're like 400 quid a season ticket. So I think that's pretty reasonable. But like, because obviously with what Pep said and stuff, I was talking to a few fans today, and they were fuming. They were just like, "Oh, he's a knobhead, and he's just an arrogant manager." But then again, they're like, "Well, the success he's had, he's won, the most trophies in England over the last, like City in general. I think they've won the most trophies over the last 10 years." So
yeah,
no, I can't quite put my finger on it. But maybe like you said with Ronaldo, like Eddie missing that, because they've had a lot of chances to. Because they could have got Messi for free, couldn't they? I mean, that might have changed it, but maybe they just bottle it when they literally go for a world-class player. I'm not too sure, but yeah, City fans ain't happy, but it makes me happy. So
yeah, us too. Obviously, I think it's a long-term thing. Personally, obviously, it's easy to say in the last 10 years when they won the league, you would have expected, obviously, the prolonged success they've had, that the stadium would obviously be generating more fans in there, because even the Arsenal game was almost empty, or not almost empty, but there was visible blue patches, and you think, it is literally only ever full when United come to town, sort of thing. I've been to Etihad when United have played there, and it was absolutely rammed, obviously, as you would expect. So I think it will come eventually. It obviously just depends on how quick. I think a Champions League win, signing a Messi, signing a Haaland, even Kane, those big world stars, but obviously City don't really work to that, and it's obviously worked for them. So going against that may hinder their plans or whatever. But it is weird, and I can't imagine it'll last forever. But if we go back to the actual game, Ollie, what was your sort of score prediction?
Yeah, I think it's got to be 3-0 Man City. I think you can't really. It has to be a bit of a thrashing. I don't really know where Southampton are at the moment. You know what I mean? They just haven't seemed to have progressed or digressed in any particular way. I do like Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think he's a good manager, but they've brought in what, Adam Armstrong, Redmond's been there for years, Ward-Prowse has been there for years. I don't really know where the improvement's coming from. Like, what? If I have to speak to a Southampton fan, what are they happy with? Where would they like to finish? If I was a Southampton fan, I wouldn't mind finishing 16th. And making another FA Cup final or something.
What's the long-term goal where they want to go? I know, like you say, obviously they've got rid of Danny Ings, brought in some young strikers, and maybe he's trained. I think it was noticeable against United. He was sort of trying to change the way they play, and he works well against United. But yeah, you're kind of right. They're kind of stuck in that middle ground of what's next under this manager and with these set of players. But they're currently 14, so 2 points, 2 places above where you want them to finish. So, not too bad. Yeah. Karl, score prediction on this one before we move on?
Yeah, I've seen it many times working when a team like that comes. It could be 20 minutes and it could be 3-0 up. It's just a pasting. I mean, even if Southampton, kind of ride the storm in the first 25, 30 minutes, I just don't see it going any other way than City grabbing quick session of goals. So, yeah, probably. It won't surprise me if they win 5-0 like they did against Arsenal, Norwich. I definitely see a lot of goals from City.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. So Manchester City versus Southampton down at the Etihad. That's it. Saturday, 3 p.m. That's that one for you. I had to get that in there. Sorry, I'm not even going to apologise. The next one, 3 o'clock kickoff again. And it's probably going to be very quick, this conversation. Down at Carrow Road, it's Norwich City versus Watford. Probably one of the worst kits I've seen this season as well, going to be worn. That Watford away is rough. It's very, very rough. Steak.com, yeah. You can't even spell steak right.
Wow, that is shit.
I'll tell you that is a mistake.
You come again.
I'm here all week.
Yeah. It's weird because obviously I support a team that wears red, okay? But when you see certain teams wear red, it looks weird. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like Watford wearing red looks odd. Even though you see red kits all the time.
Like Everton. You wouldn't want to see Everton in an away kit that was red, would you? It just wouldn't seem that, would it?
It just would never happen. So, yeah, obviously, Watford coming off that 2-0 defeat to Wolves. Norwich obviously got beat by Arsenal. Both teams kind of going to be, you'd expect them to be the lower end of the table this season. despite the Watford winning 3-2 against Villa first day of the season. Ollie, we'll start with you on this one. Sorry to give you this game to start with, but what's your thinking?
I don't really understand what Norwich's aims are this season. I don't think they've invested too much. They've lost a lot of good players, Buendia and a few other people as well. I do like the Watford side, actually. I think they've managed to keep hold of like Ismail Assar and a few good players as well, made some good investments.
Tom Cleverley, obviously.
Cleverley, of course. Yeah. Craig Cathcart. I think he's still knocking about. He seems to have been there for 20 years. Ben Foster as well, ex-United. Yeah, it's one of those fixtures. It could be 0-0, or it could be like a thrilling 3-2. You just don't really know what's going to happen. I think they might cancel each other out, and it would be like 2-2 or something. But yeah, that kit is awful, isn't it?
It's really bad.
It looks like something a builder would wear in like Cambodia, because they can't afford like high vis, so they've just got like a brightly red shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great kit. It's not.
I like watching Norwich play because you just don't know what they're going to do. Like I like Todd Cantwell. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
And they've got a few good players, but yeah, I don't know what their expectations are. I think they'll probably get relegated again, and they'll be forever known as a West Brom up and down team. I think I'm going to go for 2-2 as the result.
2-2, okay. So like Ollie says, James, Norwich they have some decent players, Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell. They've got Billy Gilmore in on loan from Chelsea, also Brandon Williams as coming from Manchester United. Timo Pukki's obviously still there. And he's right in what he says, Ollie. It's really strange, Norwich. They didn't go out and sign loads of players. It's almost like they're there to make up the numbers this season. Is that kind of what you think, and what do you think they might need to do to survive?
I'm not too sure. I do think Norwich, if I had to predict a bottom three, they would be in that. I agree with Ollie on that one. Sometimes it works in teams' favours when they do just keep that nucleus of players. We mentioned before, about Crystal Palace and the overhaul they had, and it takes time for teams to gel. So that might work in Norwich's favour. I do think, though, that it's a championship squad, and they could be the whipping boys for a lot of teams this season. This fixture last time round, Watford pinched it 1-0. So I do think it probably there'll be a goal in it either way for this one. Depends on, will Watford find more gaps that Norwich are at home? They're gonna be going for it a little bit more. But it's a tough one, and again, I doubt it's going to be first on match of the day. But I think there's going to be a goal in it either way. Take your pick really with that one. I don't think it's going to be too entertaining. But yeah, in terms of Norwich staying up, I can't see it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think most fans would probably agree with you. On the flip side, Watford, Karl got rid of Troy Deeney, their sort of talisman. Been there obviously for a few years. They moved him on. They've got, like, say, Sarr, Tom Cleverley holding up midfield together like an absolute pro. What do you make of Watford? And again, are they similar to Norwich, where they're just making up the numbers, will eventually get relegated, or do you see them maybe hanging on and getting another season in the Premier League next year?
Definitely out of the two, Watford 100% can have that chance of hanging on and staying in there for the year. Norwich just seem to be, when they come up, they seem to be too good for the Championship that year, and then they just go straight back down. Like there's nothing about them. They just seem to get slapped about a lot on the pitch. But to be fair, I've not really watched a lot of Watford. But yeah, they have got some decent players, and yeah, they'll definitely be out of the two fighting to stay in. Maybe they could nick the last spot, maybe the 17th spot. But yeah, this game, yeah, like James said, it's definitely not going to be prize fight on match of the day. I think maybe someone nicks it, or it'll just be a standard draw. Yeah.
Sounds
not too
right.
bothered, to be honest.
Yeah, sounds about definitely heading last on match of day, like James said, for me that game. Norwich City, Watford down at Carrow Road, Saturday 3 p.m. Your last 3 p.m. of the weekend. The next game is a 5:30 kickoff. Looking like it could be a bit of a tasty matchup down at Villa Park. Aston Villa, Everton, live on Sky Sports. And both teams will be wearing this. If I can add it. There we go. Does it want to add? There we go. There it is. Up there. Villa, or is it Burnley, or is it West Ham, or is it Scunthorpe? And yeah, Everton in their away shirt. We'll come to you, Karl. You look like you're puzzled there, mate. What's wrong?
Yeah, Benitez is a wanker. That's all I can say. Is it green?
The Everton shirt.
Yeah, is it like?
No, it's white with
with yellow and blue, isn't it?
Yeah, in sort of like blue.
Looks like a Leeds top from 1997.
Yeah,
no, it does. It very much does. You're right.
Yeah.
So 5-0 Aston Villa then, Karl. Yeah?
I won't be complaining. It's an odd one with Everton. Obviously, Benitez coming in, like, you know, I think it's one of them. Let's see where they are at Christmas. Like they've got a really good squad. They've got good players, and like Benitez, you know, a tactical top manager. But yeah, maybe that was the only team he could go to who was like half up there out of all the, you know, the big teams and stuff. See what he does, but I think Everton might nick it. I think Villa, I mean, you know, they'll be maybe mid-table. I think, see how they do life without Grealish and that, but I still think they've got a good enough squad. But yeah, I think Everton might nick that one. But yeah, I won't mind 5-0 Villa, to be honest. Yeah.
As Karl mentioned, James, obviously Benitez going to the Blue House for the City. From what I believe, I've heard quotes. It's basically down to laziness that he already lives in. I know his family already settled in Liverpool. Probably the only team that's come in for him. So he's decided to come back and go to Everton. It's not a bad club to manage, obviously, but good result coming from behind against Burnley on Monday night. What do you make of Everton so far this season, and what do you think they could realistically achieve under Benitez?
Well, we know that he's tactically astute, and he probably will get the best out of those players. They could do similar to maybe what West Ham did last season. You know, be pushing up there, but ultimately just run out of steam a little bit. So yeah. I think for them, a top 8-9 finish is realistic. Getting to the Europa League spots, good cup run as well. I think the main winner out of this fixture is the sponsor.
It's the Kazoo Derby. Yeah,
Kazoo Derby.
The Kazoo Derby that's going to be going on.
Yeah,
but I think I think Everton, they've got a good squad, and he's inherited a good squad there, Benitez. Do you know what though? I'm not too sure what their best 11 is. You know, if you had to think of an Everton best 11 and who you'd pick. But and having said that, in this fixture as well, I do like the way Villa play. I do like sort of. You can see that the board at Villa, that money from Grealish. You know, Karl mentioned life without Grealish, but I think they're investing that money quite well. They're looking to strengthen the squad, have a bit more depth, and have a bit more about them. We know that lack of VAR, was it VAR? Hawkeye kept them up one season, a couple of seasons ago, but I think this will be an interesting fixture. I don't think it'll be that straightforward for Everton. I'm probably going to say a draw for this one apiece. But I think Everton will be up. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a top 10 finish for Everton this season, and I think they'd be disappointed if it wasn't. Yeah,
I probably agree with you on that one, mate. So focusing on Villa then, Ollie, like James said, they've reinvested that money quite well. I think they anticipated that he would definitely be going. What I'm worried about is obviously the sort of defence. Obviously, they brought Tuanzebe on loan, rightly or wrongly, but he seems to be going to free at the back to sort of accommodate Mings, Concert, and Tuanzebe. Obviously, the Chelsea game, Mings had a massive mistake led to a goal. People say he has got it in him. Sort of, would you shoehorn all three in, or what would you sort of plan for Villa? What would you go for? How do you think they're faring up at this season, a bit up and down?
Yeah, it feels like they haven't quite cemented a kind of concrete path for their playing style with sounds like a sitcom, but Life After Jack. It seems a bit counterintuitive to go to a back five because they've invested in so many great attacking players. Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, Trezeguet is good on the wing as well. Douglas Luiz is a good pivot player. He can get the ball forward really well. He's good from outside the box. Good box-to-box player he can be as well. Ollie Watkins can play on the wing. He can play number 10 and as an all-out striker. By removing that position on the pitch, a bit like when United play with a back five as well, we've got all that attacking option. It just seems really counterintuitive. And Aston Villa are going to need goals and points now more than ever. It just seemed a bit stupid going to a back five. Konsa is a bloody good defender from what I saw last season. Mings can be a good defender, but yeah, he definitely does have a mistake in him. I didn't want to take him in the England squad. And Twanzebe, we yet to see the best of him, but he can do a job. He should be playing two at the back. Definitely if I was Dean Smith. As for Everton, I think they'll finish the season in the Everton Cup spot of 7th place. I think that'll become their new normal home. Again, they've got a good squad. I think Benitez will get the best out of them, as James said. For this particular match, I think it's hard to say really because they've got a bit of a mixed match of a squad, haven't they? And yeah, you're right. They haven't really found their first 11 yet. But it's one of those games that I can see Aston Villa being the better team for the whole game, and then Everton will nick it 2-1.
Cool. And I think we can all pretty much agree. Damari Gray, bargain signing of the summer so far.
Absolutely.
The form is in.
Absolutely.
Karl couldn't give a shit, it looks like.
I don't know if that's a screen grab from Karl.
and he mentioned of Rafa Benitez.
He's gone. He's absolutely.
It looks like a creepy Tinder profile picture.
Oh, he does. They're like them single dads on Facebook.
He's not. He's just not holding a fish. That's the only thing he's missing.
That's absolutely.
What I would say, while waiting for on that Everton kit would look really, really nice with a Leeds badge on.
Possibly.
Yeah, you are right. It does look like a Leeds kit, doesn't it? To be honest with you. But no kit looks nice with a Leeds badge on. Come on, mate.
Leeds badge.
Hopefully Karl can join us back. So yeah, Aston Villa v Everton is the 5 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports tomorrow for you. I think it'll be a good game. Hopefully quite entertaining. James, we weren't expecting much from the Burnley game, were we, to be honest with you? And that turned out all right. So hopefully this one can be just as entertaining. So the next game we have got is the first game on Sunday. It's Sunday, 2 o'clock, Brighton v Leicester. And what is likely to be a contender for worst kit of the season with Watford. That horrible grey, silver and pink from Leicester City there. I mean, we'll start with the kit, James. We might as well.
Yeah. Obviously, the Brighton kit is fine. It's just their usual colours. Obviously, blocked out nicely for the American Express sponsor, but that Leicester kit I can't imagine that's flying off the shelves in their club store there, because that is just, it's awful, isn't it? It's even like the sponsor on there as well is not great. I think we mentioned about sort of the Adidas logo sort of not clashing purposely now on kits this season, but
yeah,
that's an extreme in itself, isn't it? And I know in the past Leicester have had a pink kit as well, haven't they? But
they have, yeah.
They've missed
I think it was the season after United had one as well, which was odd. I think
they've really missed the mark with this one for me. So it is one of the worst kits, I think, this season.
Yeah. Ollie, I imagine you think the same, mate, don't you?
Yeah, it looks like the kind of kit or uniform that you'd give to some the staff would wear in like an average nightclub. You know what I mean? It's got like a glow in the dark pink badge. It's Chasers. Yeah. Chasers bar staff office reference. It's the only redeeming feature about it is the beer Saigon. which
Okay.
I used to live in Vietnam, so I lived off that stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the only redeeming feature.
I agree. It's shocking. So coming off the back of a 1-0 defeat at home to City, got to turn it on to sort of Leicester and this game. Ollie, what are we thinking?
I think that Leicester this season have made games difficult for themselves. It's tricky. It's really weird because again, on paper they've got a good squad. Their midfield's insane. In like having Ndidi and Tielemans in the same midfield, and just above that you've got Maddison. I think he's yet to get firing. Again, on paper they got a good squad. I think Iheanacho is a really good striker. He finished last season really well.
Yeah.
Obviously Vardy's Vardy. He can do it, but something's just not there at the moment. I have a feeling this might be their lowest place finish at the end of the season for some years. But that's partly in turn to how good some of the other teams are doing. And Brighton as well. You never know what you're going to get at Brighton or Graham Potter, do you? It's weird. Yeah. Sometimes you got Lallana and Danny Welbeck and Trossard playing really well, and then other weeks they're absolute dog shit and don't turn up. It's really, really random. I think they've got a better away record than they do home. I think that's Brighton. So I'm going to go with Leicester winning, but again, Brighton probably being a better team. 1-0 Leicester.
Okay. James, like I say, Brighton, sort of a mixed bag. Sometimes they look absolutely brilliant, especially sometimes at home. They won the last game, 1-0 away to Brentford. Like we said, I imagine all the the Brighton defenders were texting Ben White.
Ben White, yeah.
Saying, yeah, this is how you do it, pal. And I proved to be right. So what do you make of their season? And again, you're looking at what they can realistically achieve. What's your thinking?
For Brighton, sorry.
Yeah, for Brighton. Brighton, yeah.
It's one of those, isn't it, that they're in that they're no longer the team that sort of anticipating to be relegated. I think they've got their style of play now. I wouldn't say an established Premier League team, but they certainly should be safe this season. You'd think.
Yeah.
I always think for teams like that, you want a good cup run and you want to try and break into that top 12, top 10, if you can. Just try and get as many points on the board as possible, so you're not brought into some sort of relegation dogfight. And a good cup run, FA Cup, League Cup. See if they can push and pursue that. I do like the way they play. Players like Basuma, great players. Wouldn't mind seeing him at Old Trafford, to be honest, in a United shirt.
Yeah.
Again, if they invest that money, I think they must have been laughing when Arsenal wrote that cheque for Ben White, to be honest. Probably snatched their hands off at that. But no, they've got a good team. Like I say, they've got a style of play that they're sticking with, and it works. For me, I think it was 2-1 to Leicester last season, that fixture. But no, I think Brighton will be happy to get sort of a top 10, top 12 finish this season, and fair play to them if they do. I'd like to see Brighton win just off the back of that Leicester kit, to be honest. And I'm going to say a home win. I'm going to say 1-0 Brighton.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So Brighton v Leicester, Sunday, 2 p.m. Not on TV, that one. Couple of comments. Shout out to Aaron, top show, lads. Thank you very much. And big up you guys, Pros Only TV. Big up Pros Only TV. Make sure you go and check out his YouTube channel. Making some great content. We'll have to get him on the show definitely sometime soon. So yeah, moving on to the next game. Big one for us, lads. West Ham at home against Manchester United. Sunday, 2:00. This one is on Sky Sports also. And they will both be wearing these kits. United in a away kit. And West Ham in a kit I like. James wasn't too keen on. Throwback to 2001 sort of times. We'll start with you, Ollie. The other Ollie having a terrible week. Midweek, should I say, in Burn. Important game to win. If he wants to stay in the job, this is the game. It's going to be tricky. Not a great record down at London Stadium. What do you think we need to do, and can we do it?
Yeah, you made a good point. Yeah, we don't have a good record there, and it's just unfortunate we're playing against David Moyes as well, who knows United really well, knows Ollie well, knows the club well, knows how we play well. I think as much as I love Solskjaer, we are going to be quite predictable. I can see us playing a back five. Don't want to, but I can see us doing it. The only advantage we have is that Antonio, I believe, is suspended, and they just played in Croatia and literally flew back this Friday morning. So we've got time on our side, and they're missing their star striker, so I don't think they'll have many goals in them. What do United need to do to win this game? They need to play attacking football, but I don't think we'll see it. I think if we do play 4 at the back, it's going to be like Fred and Pogba in the middle. Maybe I'd personally want to see Matic and Pogba there, and exploit what we've not done yet. And this is annoying. So I went to Germany 2018. I went to go and watch Dortmund play. I saw Sancho play in the Champions League, and he was electric. The Dortmund fans fucking love him over there. I've not seen the same player at United yet. The only reason I can imagine why is because tactics. He's back.
He's back.
So sorry, my phone died and it overheated. I sincerely apologise.
We all thought it was
live YouTube.
we all thought it was because you couldn't stick hearing about Everton anymore, mate. But you know, it's one of those.
United fan broke the door down. I was like
that. What do you say?
Yeah. So Ollie, as you were saying.
Yeah. So So we've not seen Sancho off the leash yet. I believe he's a better player in a kind of almost, when Pogba plays on the left and he's kind of like in a free role. Sancho can do that, and he's got speed, he's got skill, and he can take on people. But for some reason, he just seems like he's not allowed to be doing that. I think United's problem at the moment is the coaching. Personally, I just think tactically we're just woeful. I can see Ole playing a back five. I think that's what he's going to do, because I think he'd be afraid of the press from West Ham. We saw them last weekend. They were very, very heavy and accelerating quite fast. But they are missing their star man, and they should be, in all seriousness, they should be quite tired from playing in Zagreb the other night. Yeah. I could see it not being a glamorous tie. I could see Ronaldo struggling. But I reckon we might get a lucky pen and or a free kick or something. I think Bruno will nick it for us 1-0.
It's interesting to hear how the midweek fixture has made the pessimistic United fans rear their heads again. But it's,
it's really brought it out on us. I was going to ask you, James. So, David Moyes done a brilliant job. You could say, that is his level. That sort of mid-table club. But he's done a really good job. You can't really fault him for his way he got there. West Ham playing. Great season last season. Like you say, Ollie mentioned, obviously they've come back late for a game on Sunday. Obviously playing on Thursday. This is really going to test their squad. Isn't obviously that strong, you would say. Do you think that could have an effect on Sunday? And it's something United should be looking at and hopefully capitalising on to get the win.
I'd like to think so. The West Ham away is a fixture I hate to watch United in, because we can just blow hot and cold in this fixture. West Ham seems to have this real big fighting spirit against sort of the bigger teams, if you like, and they do see this as a bit of a cup final, and it just depends if we can rise to the occasion, really, and if the lads are up for it. I hope we don't become too one-dimensional with Ronaldo. I agree with Ollie. I think we need to see a bit more from Sancho, but I think it is the tactical side of things that's holding him back. I'm always going to back them. I think I will back United maybe a 2-1, something like that. It'd pay me to see a back five and to see us sort of struggling to even try and get anywhere near fourth and fifth gear against them. Hopefully we've got enough in the tank. I'll just have a look. I think it was 3-1 in December. Was it? At the Olympic Stadium. So, I'd like to think United win, but I don't think it's going to be great. I think the only saving grace from the midweek fixture is that maybe Ollie will feel a bit of pressure that he has to sort of let these players play and perform and play to their strengths. And if we do concede a goal, well, it's okay, because we'll get 2 or 3 at the other end. And I just think that's the way we're going to play it.
Yeah. So, Karl, I'll come to you. Obviously, being a Liverpool fan, you've obviously known the despair on not having a league title for many years. So Coming to you, what do you think United need to do to sort of turn that corner and actually properly challenge for the league again, if not win it? What would your advice be?
I think just grind out results, like them kind of, rusty games. Like, I think the Sunday game will be a test to see, if they can nick a goal and just grind the result out. I think that's obviously. I think we did that so many times. I think in 2018, 19, and then the season after when we won it, there were so many 1-0s where you get a goal in the 20-odd minute and then just hang on for that win. I think if United can, they start doing that, then yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's been fun and games watching, obviously, United not challenged for so long, considering they made my school time nightmares with United winning everything. So, yeah, I think United will nick it. I think they'll, I think it's one of them as well where if they go 1-0 down early, can they just, kind of stick it on them straight away and just, hit back and show, teams like West Ham that, they're ready to, kind of, well, not West Ham themselves, but I mean like the bigger teams to show them that they're going to be willing to fight to the end and put up a proper title challenge.
No, so sound advice.
I think they will be, up there. It's a difficult one because there is a lot of teams this year, which is exciting considering like the last 3-4 campaigns have been 1 or 2 teams just kind of demolishing it. So it will be nice to see 2, 3, possibly 4 be up there. But yeah, United will nick it. I think 2-1.
Yeah, let's hope so. So yes, second game on a Sunday, West Ham United.
Just before you move on, Aaron,
cut me off, you bastard. Yeah.
No. Did you notice midweek West Ham in Europe didn't have a sponsor on the shirt?
Because no betting sponsor allowed.
Yeah, it's a gambling.
Good.
Yeah. Let's hope Ollie's not gambling with United's result on Sunday then, shall we? See how I looped it back around there. United away to West Ham at the London Stadium, 2:00, and that is on Sky Sports for you. Should be a cracking game, like I say. You never know which United can turn up, and West Ham always seem to be up for United coming to town. So your final game of the weekend, saving the best till last, I'm going to say, should be a really good game. Spurs v Chelsea, 4:30 kickoff, and that's on Sky Sports as well. Looking like it could be a little tasty one. And, Spurs not doing so great. They were started off well, a couple of dodgy results. I've seen a few Tottenham fans really not happy with Nuno. Chelsea kind of flying. You expect them to be right up there. Karl, we'll kick this one off with you. Chelsea looking like them and City could be the team to beat this season if United and Liverpool are going to have any ambitions to win the league. What have you made of them so far? And obviously the game on Sunday versus Spurs, what's your take?
Yeah, Tuchel's done an amazing job. Been there not even a year and he's just put them right back up there to compete for, the big trophies. And yeah, I feel Chelsea, I think Chelsea might win the league this year. I just feel like they're strong everywhere. They're just, I think they'll just, beat a lot of teams, stick out results. And same with this one. I feel it could be like an Arsenal game, this where they might just get a couple of quick goals and just, just hang back and just, because that game when we played them, like, just showed when 10 men and we had full second half at Anfield to, try and turn them over, but, they were just too solid at the back. And I think that's what they'll do a lot of times this year. They'll definitely get the Golden Glove. I think they'll have a lot of clean sheets, a lot of 1-0s. And yeah, like I said, I think they are the team to beat, and they could, if not, they could win the league, in my opinion. Yeah. So and they've got the missing piece as well. To be fair, like they spent a lot on Lukaku bringing him back, but you feel like he'd be the missing piece to go forward and get 20 to 30 Prem goals, and push them on to win it.
Okay, and you've thoughts on this game? What's your score prediction?
It's an odd one because I think Tottenham may be a team where they might win 2 or 3 games, like by, the 1-0s and stuff, but then I think they'll get beat. I don't think they'll do well against the top 6, and I think they'll just have an odd game where, that Palace game, they got 10 men, but to lose, in the last 15 minutes they lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Very surprised about that, but I think they're just going to be the same old Tottenham. I don't feel, they'll challenge for the big ones. They've got a really good squad, but there's just too many good teams around them, like the team they're playing: Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool. Because someone at work was talking about Tottenham being a title challenge, and I was like, yeah, when?
Was that Harry Kane when he was coming in for his medical?
Yeah. But yeah, I think Tottenham will just be the same old Tottenham. They maybe have a good run now and again, but I think this one goes to Chelsea, 1 or 2-0. I think.
Yeah, James. Yeah, Karl makes some good points regarding Spurs. Sort of, they're kind of in that sort of middle ground. New manager, not really heavily invested in the squad. The Kane issue always going to rear its head. Do you think he's the right man for Tottenham, and he can get them out of this hole and get them challenging, or what do you think they probably need? And obviously your thoughts on the game as well.
Well, I don't think Nuno was first, second, or maybe even third choice really for the board, wasn't it? I think it was a few of them turned it down, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So obviously discussions would have happened with the board where perhaps he said, well, we're not going to be investing heavily in the squad. And it put a few managers off who couldn't put their own spin on it. I think he's a good manager. You'd think really it's a good move for him as a coach, but perhaps not for Spurs. He's gone from Wolves to Spurs.
Yeah,
he's not really done too much with Wolves, and I just think he's probably not going to take them to that next level that they probably need. That they'd want and require. And then in terms of this game, I can't see Spurs winning it. If it's not a draw, I think it's a win for Chelsea. And just to reiterate what Karl said, I think we've said it a few times on previous match weeks. Chelsea, for me, strong favourites for the league title, unfortunately.
Cool. And Ollie, sort of 3-0 loss for Spurs last week, 3-0 win for Chelsea last week. Spurs drawn in the Europa League, Chelsea getting a win. Both coming in different kinds of form. Chelsea obviously would be strong favourites. What have you made of them so far this season?
Yeah, they've been pretty sensational. What Tuchel's done in 10 months now, nothing short of amazing. When you think it's the same squad that Lampard left him, and it's just a completely different style to coaching. It's just turned that team around as well. But in a derby, anything can happen. Spurs went to shit when Tanganga got sent off. They just looked all over the place and were lucky to hold it to 0-0 until the last 20 minutes. So Nuno and that whole squad, if you kind of believe Kane, if you've watched the All or Nothing series and you think Kane is that kind of spearhead of that team, they're going to want to get a result against their bitter rivals Chelsea, who are going to be title favourites. I think the reality is Tuchel's going to mastermind them, and it'll be 2-0. Lukaku and maybe Mason Mount getting a goal. It's these kind of derbies are normally dependent on penalties. And I can see Chelsea getting a penalty, Jorginho slotting it home, and then in the last 10 minutes, Tottenham get tired. Lukaku bashes in another couple. I think, again, it'll be a close game, but with a large result to Chelsea, I think. So I think it'll be 2 or 3-0 Chelsea, but the majority of the 90 minutes will be actually quite close.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's rounding off the weekend's fixtures. Spurs v Chelsea down at the Tottenham Stadium. Sunday 4:30, and that is on Sky Sports. We'll have a little quick look at the table. Again, not really meaning much at the time. Obviously, probably can't even see. But United at the top on goal difference. Chelsea second, Liverpool third. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good week of fixtures. Hoping for United win, obviously. And a big, massive Crystal Palace 3-0 win would be superb. All right, Karl. Yeah, so thanks for joining us for the strip down. We'll be back the next game week as well. Just before we go, Karl, obviously, stand-up comedian. Where can people find you? And check out some of your funny stuff. Is that what you call it? I don't know.
I hope so. Just YouTube, Karl Porter comedy. Instagram, Karl Porter and what. Videos and clips on there too. And what's pretty much James knows. It's kind of my trend.
Can I put you on the spot a little bit, Karl? And we'll take Ollie. You're a big fan of the noughties, but we're going to take you down a trip through memory lane.
Go on.
It's 2012. It's Barcelona. It's April 24th. Karl does a very good Gary Neville impression. If you want to take it away, Karl.
Have we all seen it?
Yeah, the Torres goal. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
He stood up for it, so
I'm not. I'm sat down.
Oh.
Right, here we go. Unbelievable!
Very good.
If ever we needed a clip for this episode, that was it, wasn't it? That's getting clipped. That's
absolutely
brilliant. So if ever we needed a reason to go and watch Karl do some comedy, I think we've got the perfect example there of why you need to. So Instagram, Karl Porter and what? And then you said YouTube is Karl Porter comedy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Cheers for coming on, Karl. I've really enjoyed you coming on. Obviously, welcome anytime, mate. Obviously.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers for having me.
No,
It's been a pleasure.
I bet it has.
Apart from the cut off, sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine, mate. You know, I would if they were talking about City for so long. Ollie, obviously, like I said, you are part of Team of Our Lives, the Naughties podcast. You are our sports social brethren. So, yeah, give yourself a little talk up, mate, on what the pod's about and where people can find you.
Absolutely. So Team of Our Lives is a noughties-based football podcast. In the second series, we're basically interviewing a load of people about their clubs or about certain niches or characteristics about their memories of the noughties. Basically, take the piss out of them for about an hour, and then we have a couple of decent features as well where we play kind of noughties-based themed games. So we got Deal or No Deal, which is like a transfer quiz. But most importantly, I've bought some Panini stickers from the noughties, and we rank all our guests on our scoreboard, and it's a good bit of fun. Opening those packs, and it's just good fun, good old solid fun. And you find us on Twitter; it's probably the best place at Team of Our Lives. We post clips on YouTube as well, teamofourlives.podcast, and we're on Instagram.
Yeah, I've noticed listening to your latest episode, I've now been knocked off second spot. I'm down into third with the Panini stickers. I'm pissed off, mate. I'm not gonna lie. And I know the reason why is because he got the Portsmouth badge, and that obviously
shiny badge. Our first. That was the only reason. Our first shiny badge.
Yeah.
I kind of fucked up the whole thing because I opened the pack. I got Ronaldo straight away. It kind of fucked the narrative of the
cheat.
Yeah. We've got video evidence.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure everyone you are checking these guys out. Karl, absolutely hilarious guy. Ollie and Harry do a great podcast, part of the Sports Social Network, and them two. Obviously, Karl, you're more than welcome to come on the main pod and have a proper talk about kits if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, definitely.
I think is it episode 5? I think you are coming on. Ollie and Harry, I believe. So that should be good. We are recording episode 4 tomorrow. Got a great guest lined up and some great features. So check out for that. That will be out on Monday coming. So yeah, thanks for joining us. We have been Talking Kit. This has been Stripped Down. Let's hope there's some good football this weekend, and we will see you soon. Up the Talking Kit.